on my end. Um, so this is good stuff. I'm excited.
Yep, we're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Very nice. Very
Hello,
nice.
everybody. Rakim Sabri here, accompanied by Coach James, and we are going to be continuing our financial wellness series.
I think you might be on mute.
Oh, yep, I'm on mute.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. We're streaming in 4 different locations right now, so we're figuring it out. But anyway, Rakim Sabri here. I'm accompanied by Coach James. We are continuing our financial wellness series. This is week 3, the last full week, and then next week will be our final week of the series. We're super excited to be back, and we're going to be continuing the conversation that we started last week. We're going to be talking about budgeting systems, maybe which one is the best one, certainly from James' experience and expertise, what it is that he's seen and working with his clients, and we'll mix it up a little bit. So let's get started. Housekeeping again, we are broadcasting in 4 places right now: my Facebook page, my Facebook personal account, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then we are co-streaming live on Instagram. If you hear anything that you like or don't like or have any reactions to, definitely feel free to leave us a comment. If you have any questions for either myself or James, definitely don't be shy. Feel free to leave us a comment. We want this to be as engaging as possible. And James, I'll hand it over to you to kick off.
Cool. So for the people who have jumped on today and maybe aren't completely filled in on kind of what we talked about last time, I just want to share a little bit of what we talked about, starting with kind of the idea of being able to get organized with your money so that you can actually understand what budgeting systems are and how they operate. And some of the main things that go into being able to understand budgeting systems is you understanding where your money's going and you seeing, where the income is coming from. You're looking at, your expenses, your subscriptions, the debt that you have, some of the all the payments that you have coming out, and you also are understanding the numbers. And I think we talked about that a little bit last time as well. When I talk about the numbers, I just mean like, am I spending more than what I'm bringing in? Which is you kind of like digging yourself out of a hole, versus, or am I making more than what I'm spending? And I have kind of some control over it, but the extra money that I do have, maybe I'm not using it to the best of my ability. So very important to be able to understand and know where your money's going so that you're organized. And so that brings us to kind of budgeting systems, right? And when I think of systems, all right, I think of, what do I think of? I think of, some steps that I have to take in order to get to an end goal. So I'm at point A and I want to get to a specific goal. So I'll give an example because I love sports personally. So I'm big on the NFL and the NBA, but I'll use the NFL example. So if you want to have a good NFL team, right, you have to have a good system in place to, first of all, get some good players in there, right? You want to get some, you need the top talent so that you can win, right? But if you just have the talent, but you don't have the coaching staff, there's an issue. So part of building a good system is being able to combine all these different pieces and parts to ultimately get you to the Super Bowl. And so it's not just one piece of the good players. Then you have the coaching staff, but if the coaching staff and the players and the upper management, they don't all get along, it's going to be very challenging for you to be able to, win the Super Bowl or reach that end goal. And so it's really the same thing when it comes to budgeting system. So you may be asking, all right, well, what is a budgeting system? So a budgeting system is something that you put together, something that you implement to begin to reach your financial goals, all right? And this looks different for everybody because we all have different habits. We all have different kind of things that we tend to do. And there's a bunch of different factors that goes into it, like where we spend our money, or where what we like to do on the weekends, or where we go shopping, or some of touching on Rakim's points of your background and what happened, how your parents influence your spending habits. So there's a lot that goes into it, but a budgeting system is ultimately just a system that you put into place and that you implement consistently to be able to reach an end goal. And I won't let you jump in. I had some stuff that I wanted to talk about on consistency as well, but I'll let you.
Yeah, no, I first of all, you're doing a great job. I love the analogy with the sports teams. I wanted to put myself in the seat of the audience, right, and make that analogy kind of more connecting to their financial circumstances, right? So when you talk about the owners, the administrative staff, the coaches, the players, all not being on the same team or all not being on the same page, and I hear budgeting systems, I think, and of course I know this content because we talk about it, right? But for the person that doesn't know this content, I'm thinking about your necessary expenses like housing, electricity, gas if you pay for it, water if you pay for it. I'm thinking about the unnecessary expenses in terms of what you need to get by minimally to survive, but the necessary expenses that help you maintain your sanity. So for some people, that might look like their gym membership. For me, that absolutely looks like Apple Music, right? I have to pay that $10 a month so I can have access to that library. To some people, that might look like Netflix. And then you have like the luxury expenses that you can't cut when you're leaning out, when times are tough. That might be whatever budget you allot for DoorDash or Uber Eats. That might be whatever budget you allot for going out on the weekends to drink or to party or happy hour or hang out with friends. But understanding the different tiers and strategies, and actually let me include some positive line items too. That might include your investing, right? So whether you're investing for retirement or not, whether you're investing just for the joy of investing, which I don't think any of us are, but investing outside of a retirement account, that's another line item that you want to account for. So if you look at those different line items as variables that exist, to your point, the coaching staff, the players, the owners, everybody has to be on the same page in order for this financial plan to work. And so budgeting is the financial plan that really holds all of that together and allows for you to know, okay, maybe this is a little bit out of whack, but these things are still in order. We can rein it in. It's not complete and utter chaos. So I think that's, like I said, a phenomenal analogy. And I just wanted to make sure that people understood kind of solidly where that applies to the line items in their own experiences. Now, using that same analogy, coming into like a team environment, you might have a brand new coach or brand new players on that team. And in those instances, things might be a little bit clumsy. And so I'm thinking of the individual who maybe understands a budgeting system or has a budgeting system that they lean on, but doesn't have the consistent income or doesn't have enough income. And so they're in the process of building so that they can get to a place where that budgeting system is going to serve them well. But because the budgeting system is there, something that they're familiar with, kind of like, the playbook or the rules of the game, if you will, they know what they can work on to achieve the level of success that they're looking to achieve, and they just have to get over that curve. So I'm gonna pass it back to you. I just wanted to, you know, speak in the language of the layman's for a second, and talk about how that matters in the overall big picture. Because I saw a post the other day where somebody said, the truth of the matter is that budgeting is boring. And I reacted to it because I was like, man, like, if that's not the truth, right? I know that's blasphemy to you, like, as a budgeting coach, but for somebody who doesn't like systems, for somebody who doesn't like numbers, for somebody who is approaching this from a place of trauma, right? Where I can barely make ends meet. And now you want me to sit here and list out all of the debts that I have, like, ouch, painful. I got to list the little bit of income that I have, ouch, painful. And I have to have on paper, looking me in the face, this version or this scenario of my personal finances that I'm not necessarily comfortable with. That's a very painful and maybe traumatic even experience from, we're looking at the overall wellness side. And so what my hope is, in having this discussion with you and in front of, whoever watches this live or on the replay, is that we can kind of demystify the budgeting process through talking about these systems, and then encourage people to not look at it as the big bad wolf, but to look at it as really their ticket to getting out of the hole that they're already in. It's not to say that it's going to be easy. It's not to say it's not going to come without struggle or without effort. But I think when we reframe the way that we look at budgeting, the word budgeting, and I've been hearing other people call it spending plans lately, then we can really kind of pull the layers back and encourage people to do the things that they know that they should be doing, but they just have this aversion to because of whatever their lived experience might be.
You said a lot there, Rakim, but one thing that I really take away from that is, and that, we all experience, is kind of that fear, or kind of, it can feel scary to list out all that stuff. If you're in a position where that things aren't going the way that you want them to be going, that you're spending a lot more than what you're making, there's going to be some behaviors that you do in order to not go ahead and see that reality, right? There's things like not checking your bank account. This was actually something that I would do. Like, if I knew I made some big purchases, or there was a bunch of swipes on my credit card, I was not, trying to check my account. All right. So when we're talking about budgeting systems, I think that's why it's so important to start with that first step of listing out those things. And even though it is scary, it's reality. So we can't run from our problems. I opened up a fortune cookie the other day, and it's like, your problems will continue to come in the same manner that they came, even if you go to a different place, location. It's just like, if you're not doing your job right at work and you try to switch jobs, and you say, it was just the manager, and then they notice on this new job you're still not doing the work, right? You're going to get let go. That problem is going to consistently come up. And so And our finances is the same way. If there are issues, if there are problems with how we spend money, how our the amount that we have coming in versus the amount that we have coming out is not where it needs to be, that problem will consist, whether you make a ton of money or whether you make a small amount of money. So it's just crucial to first get that first step of getting your income, getting your expenses down, and seeing reality, and then begin strategizing. And that's what these budgeting systems that I'm going to talk about today are. So the first budgeting system, and the ones that I'll be going over today are some of the most popular ones, and I'll share my favorites as well. But the first one is paying yourself first. And so this term kind of gets thrown around on social media, and it actually is a term that people use day to day as well, whether they are saving their money, investing their money, just spending on themselves. They'll say they're paying themselves first. So what do I mean by paying yourself first? Well, I'm talking about you're taking action on trying to build financial security. And so what that looks like is before you, like, let's say you get paid, right? Get paid every Friday or whatever it may be, or for your business, you get paid after taxes are taken out, because the government has to get their money. You take what you have and set aside money to go to your savings account and your investment account. So you're basically saying, hey, I am taking the money that I have worked hard for, and I am paying myself first. And that term of paying yourself first is just you are giving yourself some money for financial freedom. That's pretty much the goal: financial freedom and financial security. So you saying, okay, I'm putting some money aside to my savings. I'm putting some money aside to my investments, so that over time, that this budgeting system of every time I get paid, every time I bring in money, I'm paying myself first. Over the years, it will allow you to have that financial security, reach those financial goals, whatever it may be that you want in your finances, you're able to reach. And so that is the cool side. That's the, I guess, glamored side. But there is a side of paying yourself first that looks differently for some people. So I saw this tweet, I believe it was Rakim, that said, I'm going to take my vacation anyways. The bills or whatever will get paid, and what they're going to do is, like, basically in the comments I was saying, like, what are they going to do? Come arrest me while I'm on vacation, or whatever it may have been. So sometimes we can get caught in a position where we are actually paying ourselves first, but it's not to build financial security. It is to whatever we desire in the moment, whatever we want in the moment, we decide to go ahead and get it, purchase it, buy it. And so there's a lot of things that play into this decision making, one being priorities, but there's also a ton of, like, advertisements and things that kind of ease you in to this sense of paying yourself first, but for the wrong reason. So they have things like buy now, pay later, right? They have things where you can put things on credit cards. So there's a lot of things that can grab your attention that will have you spending so much money. And I mean, these advertisements are getting crazy now. Like, the tracking that they're able to do is getting absolutely insane. So yeah, paying yourself first can look very different, but what we want to focus on is paying yourself first to build financial security. And so this is one of the popular ways that you can incorporate it into as a or use it as a budgeting system. Rakim, did you want to add anything? I saw you laughing.
Now, I was just laughing at the way that you were describing these ads and the way that they track you. The I'm interested in you kind of elaborating a little bit more on that aspect of paying yourself first, but I don't want to take up the whole time that we have talking about one of the several budgeting systems, right, that we can talk about, that we will be talking about. But I'm somebody who, especially earlier on in my career, if you can call it that, as a financial educator, would always talk about pay yourself first, pay yourself first, pay yourself first. And I think I first heard that from the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. So it becomes kind of like this mantra. And it was like the go-to piece of financial advice: pay yourself first. And I lived that life, right? I paid myself first, second, third, fourth. I talk about it in my book, Financially Responsible. There were times that I would let my bills be late because I was so disciplined to paying myself first. But to your point, if there is not any structure in what that pay yourself first system looks like, it can be detrimental to what your financial goals look like, and more than just your financial goals, what your financial health looks like. And so with the pay yourself first, that can look like, oh, well, I'm paying myself $1. So yeah, I'm paying myself every single time, but how long is it going to take for that dollar to add up? Or in using the example that I just gave around not paying certain bills so that I can maintain the discipline of paying myself first. Well, what happens then when those bills get 2 and 3 and 4 months behind, and now you have like this massive balance that you have to pay, that you have to then go into the pot of pay yourself first money to cover? So I think when we talk about these strategies, that the strategies need to align realistically with what your goals are and what your income and expenses look like. Because you don't want to exercise this discipline in paying in this budgeting system, or any budgeting system for that matter, for you to then undo the work that you're doing in establishing this budgeting system. And that's why I think it's super important for us to account for line items that allow for us to relax a little bit, that allow for us to experience whatever version of luxury we want to experience, whether that's, going out and getting a pedicure or going on vacation. We want to plan for the things that we intentionally enjoy, while also having disciplines around what our hard save your money, invest your money, budget your money looks like.
So yeah, Rakim, I think those are definitely great points. And this is why we are doing our course and workbook, because, we strategically are wanting to make sure that we walk the people that are coming into this situation, or they have these issues within their finances. We want to walk them through the budgeting styles, making sure that we cater to how they typically learn and how they typically spend their money. And then we want to walk them through going ahead and listing out everything, listing out their expenses, listing out their income, so that they are then ready to start taking action, start building systems, start adding on to their income, starting to decrease their expenses. So it's very strategic how we are laying out this course, and it's very strategic how we're laying out our workbook, so that we get you from a point of maybe being unorganized or feeling unorganized, right? Maybe you're not being unorganized, maybe you're just feeling unorganized, getting you to a place of, okay, I'm confident, I know what is happening. Maybe I am in the hole, but I'm aware of it. And now I'm taking steps to dig myself out of this hole on a day to week to yearly basis, to where after I've gotten through this workbook, through this course, I am taking massive steps, massive action to get myself to begin reaching my goals. And I want to really stress like the importance of like consistency, because this is not something that, and this really excites me, like this is not something that happens overnight, right? This, like selecting your budgeting style, right? You have to first be aware of what that budgeting style is and how you work best with managing and organizing your money. Selecting that could take a little bit of time, and then going through and listing out all these different things that's going on within your finances, it can kind of be overwhelming. So we want to walk you through step by step, week by week, to get you to that place. So it's important that you buy in to that and really dedicate your time, effort, your energy to be consistent with this process, because it is not, like I said, it's not overnight. So
Yeah, I'm happy and excited because James initiated the commercial this time. The last time I initiated the commercials, and I'm like, commercial, and then I would go into the whole spiel, but that was very smooth how you slipped that in there. But yes, guys, the reason why we are doing this live series is to create awareness around this project that we're working on. Originally, we just wanted to create a course together, right? We met each other at FinCon, as we discussed previously. We wanted to talk about ways in which we can collaborate. He let me know that he was a budgeting coach. I let him know that I was a financial coach, and I hated talking about budgeting. I wanted to spend more time on wellness through the psychology and therapy sides of money, and that this would be like a perfect combination of our areas of focus. But as we've gotten to know each other and we've really been taking our time, which I have to give all the credit to James for, we realized that in creating a course, through this collab, that maybe it might be beneficial to have worksheets to accompany what we're talking about. And then in creating the worksheets, we realized, well, maybe there would be value in us creating something that somebody can have standalone in the event that maybe they didn't have a line item in their budget. See what I did there? For the course, for education. And so they can have something that's a little bit less expensive, but still very thorough and still very kind of intuitive, taking into account the different experiences that people have. And so, we've pushed back the timeline, I think twice now, 3 times now. And when we wanted to have this course wrapped up and delivered, because we want to take our time and make sure that, any instance where there might be confusion, there might be a lack of skill or will, that we're accounting for those things. And certainly we're not going to be able to cover every single thing, right, that comes up. This is not going to be a comprehensive everything that you need to know about budgeting and financial wellness. But it is the best of both of our experiences as we continue to learn and grow and engage with our audiences through the content that we put out, these live sessions, the posts that we make, and excuse me, certainly me talking more about financial therapy and financial trauma, and James talking about budgeting, these budgeting systems. So this is going to end and frequently reference from, today on, the work that we're doing together to create these products, but we're doing it with the utmost of integrity. We're doing it with the utmost of care, in that we're thinking of you guys in the end, right? It's not just a money grab and say, oh, we got a digital product, oh, we got a course, come buy it. We're really pouring a lot into this. So that's my commercial. I am learning a ton in this process, and I love that about budgeting and the different budgeting styles and the different budgeting systems, and that it's not just this piece of paper or this Excel spreadsheet or this app, but it's really a compass for guiding how you can measure what success looks like, how you can determine what success looks like, and how you can adjust. And I think that's the most important part of this, because so many times, and I think right about now, is where a lot of people who had set their New Year's resolutions in December or even on January 1 are starting to kind of slip. I know last week was a slip week for me. And so how do we help you to understand the foundations and principles around exercising these disciplines, understand what are the beliefs and stories that you tell yourself about money, and how can you take these tools and use them independently of us holding your hand through the process, so that you can get yourself back on track, so that maybe one day, if you did need us to hold your hand through the process, you can plan for that, you can budget for that, you're not going into debt for that, and you can have a quality experience that is void of as much financial trauma as we can potentially avoid. So yeah, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to add on to the commercial. But yes, I'm super excited about the work that we're doing. I'm excited about all of these live streams. Even after Financial Wellness Month is over, I think we'll probably continue to collaborate and definitely promoting the work that we're doing, but also giving you guys a lot of value between really this clash of worlds that we have.
For sure. So I want to continue giving the people some value from this, and I want to get into the second budgeting system that is my personal favorite, and that is the zero-based budgeting. Now, the way that this works is every time that you get paid, your money is already accounted for. Now, this sounds kind of weird, but what I want you to think about is, you know how you were younger, right? And somebody give you some money. It might be $10, $15, right? And as soon as you get the money, it's like your pockets are freaking burning to spend it. Like you literally have to go to the store. You have to spend every single dollar that you've received. And this is exactly how zero-based budgeting works, but it is in a very organized and strategic manner. So the reason that this system works so well is because you already know what you have coming in and you already know what you have going out. So basically, every dollar is accounted for. And what I mean by this is, okay, I got paid, taxes come out. Okay, what do I personally want to do? Well, for me, I have to go to Five Guys and I need to get some good food. So $20 of that or $40 of that is already spent, set aside to, Five Guys. Okay, what else? I have plenty of bills, right? So some of my money is set for that. I want to save. So I want to build up my savings account. So some of my money is set to that. So every single dollar is already planned for. And this type of system is for someone who typically has consistent income, or when they have large sums of money come in, they know how to spread it over monthly periods of time. So it's really beneficial for you to have kind of that consistent paycheck or that consistent spread out amount of money, so that you can go ahead and set aside money to whatever. And so there's some important things to know about this type of system, right? Let's just say you get down and let's say you bring in $2,000 and you have a little bit left over at the end of the month. All right, you're not going to be able to get it perfectly to zero, But it's called zero-based budgeting because basically all of your money is supposed to have a designation, right? And so whatever may be left can go to savings, investings, whatever it may be. But you want to keep in mind that your goals, your financial goals, are already tied up into this zero-based budgeting system. Your vacations are already tied up into this system. I know things like you have to, within the system, you have to go ahead and think of things that are coming up, right? Like, I'll just say for me, like some things that I don't typically think about, but happen from time to time is like getting my oil changed. That happens every 3 months. So that's already tied into that system. So the numbers get broken down. This is why it's important to understand your numbers, but it basically gets broken down and you basically have $0 left. But this should allow you to be really organized and really maximize the amount of money that you have coming in. So this also can be pretty tough for some people because I know with me, sometimes I'll write down a plan and then something happens, right? So we're not indestructible and we don't we can't plan for every single thing. And so I want to talk about what we can do. So we can take proactive measures when it comes to emergencies. Like let's say our car breaks down, right? And we have to get it fixed. Well, what we can do is within this, and this is assuming you have all this extra money, right? But within this system, you are trying to at least be proactive. So you're setting aside some money to go towards those things so that when something happens, if an emergency comes up, you're able to at least have some of the funds to cover you. Now, is it going to cover everything? It may not. Is it gonna, are you gonna be able to not have any problems? No, I'm not saying that at all. But with this system, it's just meant to be proactive, go ahead and plan, try to stretch your money as far as it can and allow you to hopefully reach some of those financial goals that you have over long periods of time. So.
Well, yeah, I have a question. What happens if I get a bonus, right? So I know what I'm getting paid every other week. I'm a 9-to-5 employee, and I get a bonus that maybe is equivalent to one of my paychecks, or maybe it's a lot larger than one of my paychecks. And every line item on my budget is accounted for, but now I have all this extra money. Is the recommendation in that instance to take that lump sum of money and put it into like saving or investing, or how would you treat that differently?
I love that question because that is a really good question and it's exciting. Things like that are really exciting. So I talked about the negative sides of things, right, with your finances changing. But typically your finances, we want our finances to be changing in that manner, right? Increasing our income. So to answer your question, I wouldn't treat it as in, okay, I just got a big lump sum of money. Let's invest it all, or let's save it all. I couldn't be the one to tell you what to do with that money. My approach would be to go back a step and evaluate how much you have coming in and how much you have going out. And then from there, implement your system again. So constantly over, let's say every year, every 2 years, you're going to get a bonus, a promotion. Well, that's what we're striving for, right? We're wanting to put ourselves in better situations. So this is happening on a yearly basis to every 2 years, whatever it may be. This is constantly happening. So whenever our numbers change, we need to reevaluate those numbers and make sure that they're accurate. So the review process is really important by going back, seeing how much you have coming in, how much you have going out, because that's going to let you know what's left over, right? And so with that, you can do whatever you want. You can increase your financial goals. You can say, hey, however you want to spend that money is how you want to spend it. But in the event that you get a bonus, in the event that you get a promotion, in the event that your side hustles start bringing you in more income, you have to reevaluate those numbers. You have to check your numbers and put yourself into reality once again. So whether that's a better reality or a worse reality, you have to still do that. So that's a really good question, and it's very, very crucial to consistently understand where your numbers are at. And it's an ever-changing process, right? People switch jobs, change jobs, decide to help other people, may put themselves in different financial situations. So I think it's a good idea just I check mine weekly, but at bare minimum, checking and reevaluating those numbers and reality on a monthly basis is a good practice.
Sounds good to me. So we have 14 minutes, I think, left. And I think there's 2 more budgeting systems that we have to touch on. So one more budgeting system. So that's perfect timing then. But I want to invite anybody who is watching. I saw there was a couple of viewers on Facebook. Looks like there's a viewer here on Instagram. Anybody that's watching or will be watching, to leave a comment with any questions that you have that maybe we didn't anticipate in asking, or anything that you might disagree with, challenge us. We're looking to be challenged because we're working on a product for you guys. So challenge us with questions, comments, criticisms, concerns, whatever, and we'll definitely incorporate that into our work.
Yeah, and I would like to ask a question for those who are on. I haven't had the time to kind of pin the comment or whatever, but what I would like to know from the people who are watching, who have been on, like, what are some of your biggest challenges? And I think, Rakim, you might have put a question in there, but what are some of the biggest challenges that you feel like you're faced with that's maybe keeping you from reaching your financial goals, whether that being spending habits, whether that just being you feeling disorganized, whatever it may be? What are some of those challenges that you're experiencing? Because we would love to know. It's going to help us to make sure that we are giving you all the tools, or the tools that can be very beneficial for you to get you from that point A to point B. So just wanted to ask that. But the last budgeting system that I want to talk about is the 50-30-20 budgeting system. And there's a bunch of different numbers going on. So I'll break that 50-30-20 into hopefully smaller terms. So what is 50, right? What is the 50? It's saying 50%. All 50% is half, right? It's half of what you have. And so this type of system, every time you get paid, every time you bring in a certain amount of money, the system says, okay, half of that needs to go to my bills, my subscriptions. What'd you say, Rakim? Your Apple Music, all of these different things that you have signed up to go ahead and pay for. So these bills that you have, 50% of your income goes to those things. And I don't want to be, I guess, crazy religious, but I go by 40% because I leave like 10% for God and for tithing and hopefully to help somebody else out. But 50% is just for your expenses. Now, 30% goes to, so it's 50, 30, 20. So now we're at 30%. So 30% goes towards your savings. All right. Whatever those savings look like, we know that saving and emergency funds are different, but normally when they talk about 30% going to savings, some of that 30% will be going towards your emergency fund, any savings account that you have for whatever you may be doing, just growing it, building it for maybe big purchases or whatever it may be. And then the last 20% is for your investments. So this looks different for some people. I know.
Real quick.
Yeah.
You're
Am I back or no? Oh God. Let me see if I can.
The message is what matters.
Am I good now? No?
It's still a little blurry.
I hope that it'll pick back in. But I don't know if I can do much, but
yeah, just keep going.
Literally pray. But yeah, as I was saying, that last 20% is for your investments. And what I was saying is sometimes I'm the person who works the 9 to 5. So sometimes your company will offer you, 401k plans or retirement plans, investment opportunities to go ahead and take money out of your account before you actually receive money. So that also is accounted for in that 20%. So 20% just goes straight to investments. And so hope for those who are listening on the live, I will challenge you to take a look at, your finances and see if you are able to spend only half of your income on all the bills and things like that. If you are able to do that, you are in a really good position. And the rest is just a matter of literally organization. So if you've been able at that point, it's probably not you needing to keep decreasing a bunch of expenses. And now if you want to, cool. But this is literally how you build wealth. Keep your expenses low. You have a lot of money to work with, and a lot of money is different for everyone. 50% of your income is different for everyone, right? 50% of 100,000 is you got 50,000 left, but for someone that's making 30 or 40,000, you have 20,000 left. Either way, over time, those percentages build up. And with the way that investments work, we all know that investments are risky, but over time they are meant to grow. Savings as well, even with inflation, you have the cash to be able to, if an emergency comes up or you need to make a big purchase, you're able to do those things. So over time, this budgeting system is just literally meant to build financial security. So that's the third budgeting system. So the three most popular budgeting systems are the pay yourself first, and then you have the zero-based budgeting, and then you have the 50, 30, 20. So those are really good. And as I mentioned before, all of these can work for you. They can and will work for you if you understand your numbers, if you understand how you operate, and you begin to put yourself in position for these things to happen. And I also want to talk about, up front, you may not be able to do any of these, right? That's the crazy part about it, right? I'm saying 50, 30, 20. You're like, I'm in the hole to begin with, right? Cool. You are in the hole, but the important thing is that whatever situation that you are in, you get crystal clear on what your goals are, and you begin taking action in order to get to where you would like to be. Right? There's somebody who is at where you want to be. Now, granted, they have different circumstances. There's a bunch of different things that go into that, but you have to start with making initial progress. And so that's the thing I also love about this is no matter where you're at, when you become organized, consistent, and you begin to grow, develop your skills, become more knowledgeable, become more educated, it's like you're beginning to build momentum into reaching your financial goals or getting to where you want to be. And that's the exciting part. It's literally the person who you're becoming. That's the exciting portion, not the end goal of having all this, money or being financially free or being financially secure. That journey and the person that you become, these systems that you put into place, some of these budgeting styles and facing reality, that is what allows you to reach that end goal. But if you don't take the time to take that first couple of steps, be consistent, and not give up after a month, 2 months in, over time, that's what allows you to reach those financial goals. So this is exciting stuff, Rakim. As we've been talking, understanding not only the number side of things, but some of your history, some of the things that your childhood traumas, some of the things that you experience every day, your environment, all of these things, understanding these things and being able to combine all this information and knowledge and begin to put it into action. It's really exciting. Not saying it's easy, but it's exciting.
Yeah, I can certainly tell. I hope the audience can tell that you are excited about this topic. I felt like I was at church for the last 5 minutes. I'm like, man, James is over here preaching, really getting into it. But yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to add to that. I think, you ended it on a very strong note. I just would reiterate that, we are working on a project together. It is both a workbook that we will offer independently of the accompanying course. We're working on a course as well that combines budgeting and really, financial literacy. And we kind of talk about the difference between financial knowledge and financial literacy, but really educating people on what's out there and, very foundationally, how do you set up a budget? And then moving into understanding the psychology side of money on a very high level and how that influences your ability to, first of all, look at the budget, right? Because we talked about the trauma of looking all of these obligations in the face, but beyond that, moving through that trauma and executing on these systems that we create. So we have one more of these left next Tuesday, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then in all of the in-between of this, we're working on this content. So we're super excited. But yeah, I'm done. I'm ready to wrap it up and get out of here.
The last thing I just want to say is we do have a link. If you're on this, I think I'm echoing on.
Oh yeah, I'm still.
Yeah, I can't hear myself. Yeah, we do have a link for you all who are interested in going ahead and being on our list to keep up with when we release our course as well as our workbook. So we want to make sure that you go ahead and put your email in so that we're able to send those updates to you. This is it's going to be coming very fast, and we want to make sure that you are aware and up to date. So just wanted to put that out there. We will have the I can put the link. The link is in my bio. I think it's in Rakim's as well. So if you're interested in doing that, be sure to just right after this live, go ahead and do that. And I believe in the YouTube, it'll be down in the description box. So
Yeah, I can definitely put that there. Also, if you don't see it or can't find it, definitely feel free to just leave a comment on any of the streams wherever you're coming from, whether that is YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Send us a DM, comment on the post. I mean, we're keeping all of these up, so if you can't find the link, we'll definitely send it to you. But definitely easy for us to keep track of who's interested. And for you to get the information as soon as we deliver it by clicking on that link and subscribing. And I'm going to be sending it out to my email list. So I have a weekly newsletter that goes out on Friday mornings and talking about this as well. So there's going to be news of this. We're going to flood it. Definitely next week, we're going to be flooding it and going, through the rest of this month. So you'll see the content. But if you're interested, again, closed mouths don't get fed. We won't know that you're interested unless you let us know. But we're past the hour. We're at 7:01. So you have any parting words?
I don't believe so. I'm good. I think this is a good live. So
Definitely was. Well, I'll end the stream now, and we'll see you guys next week.